What's going on, guys? We're here with Marc Lobliner, the founder and the CEO of MTS Nutrition, and my favorite ex-pro bodybuilder who's going to help me get a lot bigger like he is.
Try my best here. Try my best to maintain relevance.
Absolutely. So we're trying to go through some questions here about the difference of great athletes and average, so-called average athletes, and what is the real difference and what makes great athletes great athletes.
Exactly, and one thing you're going to see that I've seen personally more than I ever thought from coaching here at Campton is normally when I was a kid, you'd have that one athlete who would never show up to practice, come and score all the home runs, all the goals, all the touchdowns. That doesn't exist anymore. That doesn't exist because it's gotten so competitive that you can't just have that one baller who doesn't put in work. I've seen a direct correlation where the best players in this entire club of 500 plus kids, the best players are the ones who show up to every optional, who show up to every speed, strength, and conditioning program, who show up to privates with you. Those are the best players, and it is no longer about talent. I think with science and with training and with nutrition, even at this age, the age of, let's say, 8 to 18, we have closed the gap where talent can only be enhanced. But you can't just rely on talent alone.
Absolutely, I agree. I fully agree, because I think the word talent is so overused, in my opinion. And it might take it to the age, say 13 and maybe up to 15, but from there, it's all about your work ethic, your honesty on the field and how hard you work, the nutrition that you take, and everything that you do off the field. And that's gonna help you get to wherever you want to get to when you're 16 and plus. So I think, you're spot on there.
There's a great book written called Talent is Overrated. If you haven't read it yet, read it. And it basically says there's no scientific proof that talent even exists at all. But there is scientific data and proof, or at least a correlation, that hours practiced, whether it be in the professional world, or it be in the soccer world, or the baseball world, or in this case, the hockey world, they reference Jerry Rice in football, will lead to the perception of talent. Now, listen to it this way, okay? If you're to do hours practice, minutes practice, there's a direct correlation between that and how well you do, how long you train, how many hours you spend. What is it, 10,000 reps to learn a new move?
Yeah.
Okay, now imagine if you start that at a younger age. For a child, to teach a kid a hex bar deadlift is much easier than teaching an adult. Because adults will have look at us, look what we're doing now, we're sitting. Okay? We've been sitting for so many years. Our hips develop some really bad habits. Our knees are in a bad spot. So these kids, they naturally, you drop something, you tell an infant to pick something up, he's doing this. Tell an adult to pick something up, they're doing this. So we literally have a situation where if you start a youth athlete out from a young age and you get them training and progressing, you will have a head up over everybody else. Now you look at the outliers, like, oh, we have to have height. There's certain tangibles that work. Like in basketball, it helps to be over 6'6". But you take a sport like soccer, there's really no height thing.
No, there isn't.
You take a sport where, and there's basically, you have everybody from Messi, who's
5'5", 5'7".
They say he's 5'7". I debate that. I've seen him stand next to real dudes who are 5'8". He ain't 5'7". He literally had a growth disorder as a kid. He had to take growth hormone to reach his full height potential. So you have someone like him, arguably, in my opinion, the greatest of all time, who's short. You have someone like Spud Webb in the NBA. What separates Messi and those guys from the rest? You can actually say he's at a disadvantage from a height standpoint. Somewhere along the line, Messi, along with his natural gifts, which are genetic, there are some genetic traits that are inherent, but his traits were able to lend himself to more hours practiced. He didn't learn how to do that footwork. He didn't gather that quickness from watching someone else do it. He had to perform rep after rep after rep after rep.
Going there working for himself.
So that's the thing with work, with load, with experience, with repetition, is the ones who make it are the ones who literally have OCD. My daughter can sit there and juggle. Her record juggling at I think last year was like 997. She missed 1,000 by 3 reps. My daughter can stand that. That's 30 minutes. How many people? I couldn't. I couldn't. How many people are going to stand there? You could probably stand there and juggle for 30 minutes straight with a ball just standing there. Dude.
And how old is she now?
She's 13.
Yeah, so that's a lot.
I mean, it's insane, but that's why she's excelling at things, because she gets fixated on something.
Yeah, that's level of focus.
And her focus right now, she has that long-term goal.
Yeah.
So her focus is to get into the Olympics.
Yeah.
To go to the Olympics, be on the national team. We all know the odds of her doing that are, we have a better chance of Carrie Underwood streaking across this field naked right now.
Looking forward to that moment.
I hope it happens today. That's why I came here. But you know what? If anybody you have to have that big goal.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to reference another coach here at Campton, Louis, last year with the 06 girls. Had them write down their why. Why are you playing soccer?
Yeah. The
girls who I would say, practice more and stand out. Their goal was D1, the Olympics, this and that. The girls who might not necessarily show up all the time, their goal was to have fun, to be with friends, to have a good time. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sports are extremely psychological, extremely psychosocial. But if you want to make it to the next level, whether it's in work or whatever, now go back to Talent is Overrated, that book. They reference Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Why is he so great at computers? As a teenager, he was allowed access to the University of Michigan's computer room. He sat in there for hours perfecting his craft on the computer. So it doesn't just apply to sports. It applies to everything you do in life. Repetition, 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 and practice, and just adhering to something and not giving up.
I remember, I think this is Conor McGregor saying this once, and he said, talent, there's no talent, it's all about obsession. Mm-hmm. So you have to be obsessed. So I remember when I was growing up, obviously myself, I wanted to become a professional soccer player. Never happened, but I set my goal, to the highest point where I can reach. So the quote is, you reach for the ceiling, you're gonna stay on the floor, but you reach for the sky, and then you're gonna touch the ceiling. Yeah. So you set your goal really high and you work for it, and say you fail. In my case, I failed.
But you're here.
I'm here
and now. You're making a living at soccer.
Right. So. That's true, and now I'm also helping the kids not to repeat what I did, so they can succeed. Not to follow not necessarily my path, but I want them to succeed and reach their goals, and set high goals and reach their goals as easy as possible.
I think the thing is that nobody goes into coaching, club soccer or rec soccer or college soccer, expecting to make millions of dollars. I look at soccer in the same light I see teaching. Coaching and teaching are the same thing. You're not, unless you're an NFL coach or a coach of a pro football team, soccer team, you're not going to make millions of dollars. You can make a comfortable living, but you're not going to be rolling a new Lambo. It's not
going to be luxurious.
No, it's not. But you're doing it as an altruistic move to help the next generation, and that's something to be said. So the next time you're at a soccer game and you're yelling at a coach, realize he didn't get into the profession because he wants to make millions of dollars.
Love of the game.
Love of the game and love of developing kids.
Impacting the player's life positively. Help them to grow, not just as an athlete, but to grow as a human being.
Yeah, so I think when you look at overall the champion mindset and what it takes to be a champion, I think that you just need to look at the overall development of the athlete. And also, you need to realize that at the age of 13, I just got my 7v7, 9v9, 11v11 license. Mm-hmm. And the main take-home I got was the same thing. I knew the statistic going in, but I reinforced it. Because the state of Illinois, Illinois Youth Soccer, has basically identified this, and that's why they have a system called play, practice, play. Yeah. Play, practice, play is designed to make soccer more fun. Because if you do drills, and drills, that's not fun. Right. And what they realized, and let's be real, it's a business. So imagine if you have a business and you service people 6 to 18, right? 6 years old to 18, because they start travel at U7. Yeah. Because my son's going in it next year or whatever, whenever he figures out how to run and not play with his jersey. So they realized they were losing 75% of their clients at the age of age 13. That becomes a business issue. That's huge, yeah. So what can we do as coaches, as parents, to keep the kids involved is you make it fun. Yeah. And I think a lot of parents, are busy trying to force a dream of their own down their kids' throat. Look, my kids don't play. Look, trust me. I tried to get my kids in every other sport before soccer because for me it was uncomfortable. Because I didn't play soccer.
Right. Yeah.
I played baseball and football, American football, the fake football. Don't ever say football to a guy from Europe.
Don't do that.
He'll get mad. So for me, my kids found their love. So once your kids find that passion, that love, all you do is support. And I went over the top. You know, I went, okay, I'm gonna learn everything I can about soccer. I'm a strength coach. I'm gonna teach these kids how to get faster at their club. And I'm not saying you have to do all that, but if you force your kids to do something, it's not gonna make them champions most of the time. It might sometimes. You hear about some people who just hate the sport they do, but they do it because they're good at it, because they practiced. But realize that you only have a 25% chance, if your kid loves the sport, of your kid sticking to the sport. So the goal of every program, especially here at Campton, you look at the little, when we have the little soccer school out, like they're having fun.
Oh yeah.
They're out there, they're running. It's not even play, practice, play. It's play, and we'll tell you if you did something wrong. Or you did something right. You know, we're going to kick the ball. We're going to learn to do some patinis. We even changed that. When I first came to Campton, soccer school started out with drills. We do the toe touches, we do patinis, this and that. But then you realize by the time they got done with that, these kids, like you realize that if you get 30 minutes out of a kid under 9 years old, you won life.
Oh yeah. It's really hard.
As soon as they get here, play, practice, play. So I think that's a huge step in the U.S. soccer in recognizing that we are losing too many kids to other sports, to whatever. We need to make soccer fun again. There's a little Trumpism right there. We need to make soccer fun again. And, you put kids, they're going to learn. Like you learn how to play.
But firstly, I want to say that you inspire me because you've come through different sports and different industries, I suppose. But you going out there to get your coaching badges, and your open mindset is always to, grow. So that really inspired me. And secondly, we talk about play, practice, play. And I remember growing up in Korea, we always do drills, and we would train 3 times a day, 6 o'clock in the morning.
You're a freak. You probably loved it.
I'm not going to say I didn't love it, but it's very different because in Korea, I'm sure it's different every country as well, but in Korea, if you start playing a sport, you're playing a sport not for fun, but you play to become a professional. So that's the mindset you have, from the day one that you start playing at age 8. So, I lived with my teammates, 20-something teammates in one household.
Insane.
So we would wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, train, get breakfast in, get to school, and 2 p.m. after school we would train, and then 8 p.m. before bed we would train again. So 3 times a day we would train. And I'm not going to lie, we used to get beat by baseball bats, by coaches' hands, and fists in the face, and all that stuff. Now, that's really bad, obviously, but it helped me to stay strong and just be resilient and persevere in a strange way. But also, that's very bad because it's all about drills. That takes all the creativity away from the players. So what happens is when I was young, we would look at the coaches and and look for a coach's approval in certain positions and certain movements. So that's not good because we're always looking for that creativity from players. But if we start doing drill, are we really looking for creativity from the players, or are we taking it away? So we have to be really honest here.
And one thing you notice about, you go to a Corver camp, and they literally pick 3 moves, and they do it over and over through the entire 4-day camp. They literally just learn those 4 moves and they scrimmage. Here's the thing, those moves are called Ronaldinho, you got the Maradona, you got all these different moves. What do you notice about those moves? Those moves came from creativity. So if you're just doing drills, you never get that creativity. You would never have a Ronaldinho. You would never have a Maradona. You would never have those moves because those moves were created by resourceful thinking. And Campton they actually have a rule in the league now. You used to be able to punt under 10 years old. Now they don't. They don't let you punt. But so you'd basically, we'd lose every game because the other team would punt the ball. They get a strong kick at goalie. It's in our friggin' net. Okay, so now they changed the rule. But even before then, Campton, we'd roll it out, and at that age, they don't have any ball skills.
Yeah.
So we're losing the ball 90% of the time. The goalie rolled it out, she's out of the box.
Yeah.
But we did it because it taught them to be creative on how do I get off this pressure? How do I beat this pressure? Who can I pass to? Where's open space? And when I was watching this, it was before I went to all these classes and courses and got all this soccer knowledge, right? And at the time, it made me really mad because I'm like, why are we purposely losing?
Yeah.
But now when you see our kids, literally see my son Thomas,
Yeah.
he'll get a ball back there and composed,
Yeah.
and he'll beat the guy 100% of the time. And that's because he lost. He lost those games because we taught the kids how to be creative.
Right.
And we also taught them, hey, guess what? If you're creative and you could try your hardest, you might lose. Get over it.
Yeah.
Think about kids, they don't really care if they win or lose. And I
They'll
thought
forget
this
it. The moment they step away from the field, they will forget it.
I don't even think one of my kids remembers any games before last year.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them remember any losses. They might remember a couple tournament wins, but my daughter probably, my daughter's like you. If you could beat her with a stick, if it makes her better. But Thomas, Thomas will cry and be like, why are you hitting me? And he'll quit. He'll like be, nope, this ain't for me. I'm tired of being hit.
Yeah.
So most kids are like Thomas. Cammie, you could literally waterboard her to make her play better. She'll be like, cool, why go to the Olympics?
She's obsessed to get better.
She's good. Thomas is obsessed, but to a point.
Yeah.
So you just have to know that, Cammie is one of, and again, I've trained, and this is not me bragging on my daughter, this is just me psychoanalyzing, because I'll tell you right up, like, I love all my kids equally, but Thomas is not that kid. He doesn't have, and he might go to the Olympics. He's good, but like, I don't know. They're not even 15. I don't know what they're gonna do. But you gotta realize when you're dealing with kids that Cammie, you can't treat every kid like Cammie. Like Cammie's favorite coach here is Scotty, who I'd argue is the toughest coach here.
Yeah.
Scotty is by far the toughest coach. She loves him to death. Some kids are scared to death of him because he'll tell you when you mess up. Cammie will get mad if you don't. Hey, what'd I do wrong? Nothing. What do you mean I did nothing? I had to do something wrong.
Yeah.
Most vitamin D3 comes from sheep's wool grease. That's right. Sheep's wool and the grease from it. That's where you're getting your vitamin D3. No, that's disgusting. MTS Nutrition Vega D3 is derived from lichens, which is a renewable source. And the great part of it, sheep's wool grease, it's not vegan. So vegans can't even have it. Our Vega D3, again, 100% plant-based. We recommend taking 5,000 IUs of vitamin D3 a day. This has it all in one capsule, available right now from MTS Nutrition. Right, so you can't treat everyone like Cammie. Like, you could literally, but like, again, you do that to Thomas, he's gonna be crying, he's gonna be sitting over there.
Yeah.
So you just have to realize that you have that one kid that's fine.
Yeah.
Go a little harder on her, expect more. But even then, like, she's 13. That's the age they all drop out. Who's to say she's like, no, I'm tired of being told what to do.
Yeah.
So that's something to temper as a coach.
I think, I agree, because every kid grows, physically they grow at different pace with different development, and same thing when it comes to mindset and mental part of the game. I think it goes to, it's evident that it applies the same at the top level. You look at players like Paul Pogba playing for Man United. When he was playing for Jose Mourinho, he wasn't happy. He's not the type of player who likes to get scolded, who likes to be told that he was wrong. He's the type of player who needs to be kind of like babysat.
Yeah.
So who needs to be loved. So all the kids are different. I think that is the hardest part, in my opinion, of coaching, is just managing each individual, because every kid is different.
Oh, they're absolutely different, and and also you got let's just pivot topics right now because we're rolling.
Yeah.
You just have the age. For example, the 07 girls that I train over here, they're awesome kids, but they're 11. They're jovial.
Yeah.
They like to joke around. Whereas my U17 boys, they're like, let's throw some weight on here. Let's get serious. Let's get at it. So I can't just go in with a cookie cutter training program and be like, hey, here's my attitude. With the 11-year-old, we're going to do different games. We're going to have fun with it. We're going to be much more positive. We're going to have much more rewarding type talk, much more positive reinforcement. Whereas with the older boys who have been coached by a Scotty and they have that in their mind, you're going to be like, hey, you can do better.
Yeah.
Whereas the 07 girl, I'm not going to tell her you can do better. I'm not gonna say something like that because they're like, well, I'm doing something wrong inherently. So with them, my approach would be, hey, that's an amazing job. I love how you did that.
Yeah.
You try like moving your hip this way. It'll do much. That's perfect. Yes, good job. You know, whereas the U16 boys, they're men.
Yeah.
Like they're 16-year-old men. They're not boys anymore.
Right.
Or even our national championship 00 girls. Like I cannot treat them like an 07 girl.
No,
they're national champions,
yeah.
bro. They're the best team in the country. We are training the best team in the country. So first of all, you can't let them know that you know they're the best in the country, because then they'll get a big head and they won't be the best anymore. But also, you have they're so used to, like, again, who's their coach? Scotty. So I have to also know who the coach is. Like if you're dealing with someone like, okay, the 07 girls, Angel. He's dealing with those 07 girls. Angel's very, you know, kind of like chill with them, very positive. So I'm not going to go in like I will with Scotty's athletes, and Scotty's like, you know, and then Angel's like, all right, puppy pass.
Very different.
So it's just a matter of that group. So age plays a huge role. They're psycho, they're emotional, they're also, you know, if you get a girl or a boy past 13, 14 years old, they're going to play soccer until they're told they can't.
Yeah.
Whether it's colleges don't want them or whether they get an ACL, they're going to stay. You get past that pivotal 14, 15, they're probably going to stay.
Yeah.
So when I have a player between the age of 11 and 14, that's when I know that you definitely need to be careful not to push this athlete too hard, but also not to make it too easy, because they need challenge. But you also need to be cognizant of the fact that if there's 4 girls back there, I'm only going to see one of them in 2 years. Statistics don't, those are the statistics. So my goal is at least 6 out of 7, or let's say 11 out of 13 of the 07s are here in 2 years. I think that should be all of our goals, is how do we keep them happy? How do we keep their parents happy? You know,
and
that's
and how to teach kids how to love the game. That's, for me, that's my ultimate goal, to teach them how to love the game, how to have fun with the game.
Yeah, and I think also a huge disconnect is we look at athletics versus academics. And I think if we let parents and students know that exercise is the only thing you can do that increases your brain's capabilities immediately. So, you know, you always thought when I was a kid, the nerds weren't active, right? The kids who got good grades. Now I see more student athletes with 4.0s than ever. Because there was a Joe Rogan podcast on this the other day, bro, and it was like, he was talking about Tyson and someone, you know, it was Lennox Lewis, talking about like Tyson being smart. And the thing is, think about boxing. Like you're literally playing a mental chess game, trying not to get hit. You're reacting in a second. And think about everything you do in that and how it applies to life. Like if you get something thrown at you by your boss, and you're used to having to jot, it's the same brain function. So reaction time, reactions, playing under pressure, leadership, those are all things taught by youth sports. I've been successful in life. It's not because of my college degrees. It's because I was a team captain on my football team in high school, American football.
It's a life trait.
You can't, school cannot teach the leadership and the teamwork and everything that youth sports teaches. And I think that's where we have a disconnect, is it's always, hey, you don't do this, you're not going to go to practice. And I've had that argument. I'm like, Katie, if there's anything you take away the iPad. Don't take away sports, because that's what's going to keep them from getting in trouble. You know, I'm not worried about my kids because their free time is spent here. You know, that's where I want them to be. Oh, they love it. And, you know, they'd be here right now, but they'd be making noise, so I'd be mad at them anyway. But my daughter had 2 hours of track practice this morning. So, you know, keeping the kids active. We have a huge epidemic in Illinois right now, at least in this area, and in the entire Midwest, the entire country. Trump addressed it, of heroin and illicit drug use. And thing is, you want to keep your kids off drugs, get them in with the right crew, get them with a goal. If their goal is to go to the Olympics, generally speaking, heroin's not the best good idea to go to the Olympics. So they're going to make that correlation and talk to your kids, be with the kids, support them at games. And that's where we need to kind of develop these kids, man.